This is the Cool Photo Tools Podcast, episode number 75, July 11th, 2016.
Are you sick of trying to learn all the new photo software? Are you tired of hearing about the next big thing in photography? Well, neither are we. Welcome to Cool Photo Tools with Jay Piersdorf and Rhonda Spencer.
Today's program is brought to you by Skillshare. For a limited time, get 3 months of Skillshare Premium for just 99 cents. Anyone can take an online class, watch video lessons, and create projects. Over 4,000 premium classes. Go to coolphototools.com/Skillshare for your discount code. That's coolphototools.com/Skillshare. So good morning, cool heads. This is Jay Piersdorf and my co-host, Rhonda Spencer, in the back of the room there. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome. Wake up. Wake up and smell the photo tools, or something like. I guess smell the coffee.
Yeah, that works.
While you're shopping on Amazon to pick up the latest and greatest cool photo tools that we have suggested for you, and we try some of these out before we suggest them, and others we just go ahead and suggest them. We don't try out everything.
We do.
There's not enough hours in the day, is there?
There's not enough money in my wallet.
Well, there's that too. And speaking of which, you see where DxO, this is from Popular Photography, made me aware of this, but DxO has a new version of their Optics Pro. This is Optics Pro 11 image editing software. And I've played around with this a little bit, and I haven't played around with it enough to know if I prefer it from Lightroom or not. But a lot of people do. A lot of people really like the DxO software. Have you played with that at all?
I have. In fact, I have the version 8, but I was looking at the 11. You know me, I'm a software freak.
Well, yeah, because you can change a lot of things really, it can make you or break you. A lot of the people that are in photography, if you're trying to be a pro, you've got to learn the software. You got to learn how to use, some digital editing. You cannot just shoot JPEG and let it go at that. Pretty darn rare, so.
And it's a great way just to lose hours and hours of your time.
Well, there's that, yes, if you're looking for that.
It's fun, though.
I just thought I would bring that up. They do have a 30-day trial, and currently, as of this speaking, there are 2 versions, $99 Essentials Edition, but really you want the $149 Elite
that's
Edition.
What I was looking at.
The Essentials is doesn't have enough stuff. I don't know why they did that. Just
it gives you 3 installs, I do believe.
Okay, so you could use it on 3 computers if you had 3 hands.
Yeah.
Or if you could use one of your feet and 2 hands.
I mean, use it on 2 computers and give it to a friend.
Ooh, give it to a friend.
So Jay says, okay, you buy it, and I'll take the other install.
I don't know if I would use it yet. I'm still investigating.
Are you?
I'm not really unhappy with Lightroom, in Photoshop. So it's got to really show me where it's superior. And they do render differently, but I don't know if it's. I don't know. Why don't you drop us an email, coolheads, and let us know which digital editing that you prefer. We'll have a contest.
Well, I'll tell you one I just picked up and got. Yeah, last week when I was talking about that, I had done that photo block. Well, for photo blocks, you usually have to have, how do I want to put it, additional edging so that you can wrap it around the photo block. So a lot of times you need to maybe. How I compose a picture, I haven't necessarily given myself a lot of extra space on the outside edges of it. And so I invested on one Resize. But I invested in on-one Resize 10. Have you ever used that, Jay?
Well, yeah, but the one that they're with their raw. Well, yeah, I've used the on-one plugin suite. I think I've got version 9.
Anyway, I used it, and I like it a lot. And the other,
now, wait a minute. What did you use it for, though? Did you try to make a picture, give it more detail? Or?
No, I was using it because on this one, let me start it up.
Well, I was just going to jump ahead here because this won't take very long to cover this one. And this is, again, Popular Photography brought my attention to this. And this is actually from a company that is licensing the Polaroid name. And they're making some of these little tiny cube cameras that, kind of like a GoPro wannabe, but they're a little smaller. They don't have any screens on them. They're like $150 for the HD one. Anyway, they have a new attachment for this little video camera. And it's, what is it called here? I just want to make sure I got this right here. It's the Polaroid camera is called the Cube, and this is the official shot glass mount. Yeah, I'm going to put this on the screen here. Okay, so you can see this is the camera here on the bottom, and then the camera slides into the shot glass. And a shot glass would be like, where you take a shot of whiskey.
This is like a real shot glass then.
Yeah. So you can see the camera snaps into the bottom here. And so then the idea being, when someone drinks a shot of whiskey here, then the camera is in the bottom of the shot glass and you get a very unique view.
Do you have any pictures of someone taking a drink with it?
There are some on the internet. I don't think I have those lined up here. But yeah, you can look on YouTube. You can see a couple people.
So what you do is you take the picture of the first shot and then the second shot, a third shot. Each time you get to see how the person is doing.
Yes, well, the uses for this are limitless. I think we can pretty much see. But they get the unique product of the week. This is the Polaroid shot glass mount for your camera.
Okay.
All right, so did you find what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Rhonda's going to show you this now.
With the On1 Resize, not only can you resize, you see all these different resizes that you have here that you can go into. They have what's called gallery wrap. And gallery wrap does exactly that. Do you see what it's done?
Yeah, okay. I have used this.
Have you used this?
Now it's coming back to my memory. And that's perfect application for this. So
and they do it's exact right size.
And so if you're going to make a gallery wrap, which means that you are going to have this printed from a lab, that they actually wrap part of the image around the sides. So if it's a 1.5 inch deep mount, then the image gets wrapped around the side. The problem being, if you've already cropped the image perfectly in your camera and you don't have that much to spare to wrap around the edge, so it might bring your subject, it might be like a merger, a border merger. Maybe in this case, we're showing a picture of a bobcat, and it might bring the ears too close to the edge, or the ears might wrap around the edge. And so this helps you extend the edges by doing some clever reversing, flipping, and duplicating.
And the reason that you can do this in Photoshop too, but it just becomes where it's really easy because it's just like a click. Just a click. That's all you're having to do.
Yeah, I agree. This is a nice feature of the Resize, and it is in the suite. Because I got it. So. Okay.
And
but you paid an extra $39 for yours, huh?
I did.
So now you have 2 copies.
So they claim that you can actually increase your size by 1,000. The one thing I can say about this, the Resize, it really does a very nice job of resizing imagery.
Okay, I'm going to say don't use it for that, just because. And you can check with your lab on this. If you have an image that you want to have printed, and you don't think it's, you had to crop quite a bit, so it's not the full size deal. A lot of the large prints are actually, they can print them as low as like 150 dots per inch, and then they will do the calculations to smooth and enlarge. So check with your lab before you do that. If you're thinking about having prints made, now you might have some other use that you're doing this for, which would be fine. But if you're going to have them printed, ask your lab, what about this image? Do I need to use this tool? But see, they have this. They can do this. If they think that's going to make your image better, they could do this for you. So just check with them. Okay. I said that about 3 times, so I think, did I emphasize that enough?
I think so. Anyway, I like this. I think it's a really great program. It works really well. It's fast.
Okay, so that's Resize from the On1 suite, and the suite is up to version 10. And soon, this fall, they're coming out with the On1 Raw, which is going to be
that's really
converter.
Exciting.
We'll see, because then the more competition, the better, right? So we're all up for that.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited. I think that will be very cool.
So something else I found on Popular Photography's website is a way to make paper cameras.
What?
Yeah, Papercraft. there's a lot of people that do this.
Really?
And so what you do is you use your inkjet printer and you download the projects and you print them on some fairly sturdy paper, and then you have to cut it out very cleverly, and you use a little white glue, and you can make, we're looking at an Olympus OM2 camera body that's made out of paper here.
It doesn't really take pictures, though, does it?
No, of course
No.
not. It just, it's just for fun. But you
I
can
thought
make,
maybe you could like get a sensor put in it and stuff. You never can tell.
oh,
You know.
no. This is a decorative,
Okay.
item, but just kind of a fun craft thing. This paper craft. I'll put a link to this in the show notes. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of different camera bodies and actual cameras that you can print out and fold into paper for decor items, or to maybe special effect. You can throw one off a cliff and people will be like, I don't know. It looked like fun to me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, Rhonda.
You gonna make one?
I maybe. I don't
can't
have
wait.
time. They look like they're pretty intricate.
It does. This is pretty nice decor too.
Oh, okay. So Rhonda's looking at a new little purchase she's probably going to make.
Oh yeah,
What is this, Rhonda?
that's a Hasselblad medium format mirrorless camera.
Oh, this is the new one they just came out with.
Yeah, it's pretty, isn't it?
Well, yes, we're looking at their website, and if you see, there's actually some you see there's some other pictures there you can maybe scroll down
Oh,
through.
I'm sure.
Yeah, just to kind of show us some of
Let's see. Let's go.
those little dots on the left edge. There you go. Okay, you can give us a little tour while we're talking
All right.
about it here.
Isn't
So
it pretty?
it's really not much bigger than some of the full frame mirrorless cameras.
Yeah. Well, look. There's a very good picture. Look at this.
Yeah, so it's they're nice sized.
And for medium format, that's a nice size camera.
Okay, so medium format. So what size image are we talking about?
What is medium format?
I think they're talking
they're
50
megapixels.
50 megapixel.
Uh-huh.
All right, so that's going to require you to get all new lenses. It's got the 50
Yes.
megapixel CMOS sensor.
Yes.
And they're claiming it's smaller than most 35 millimeter cameras used to be. And indeed,
Look. Yeah.
nice and compact.
Yeah.
But the price on this, Rhonda, was
Oh gosh, what was it? 11,000 with the lens.
oh, well, yeah. No,
would
I don't need a lens. Just give me the body. I'll just use one of my other lenses.
I think the body's like 8,900.
Yeah. So
So you've got to be pretty serious.
All right. Yeah. So
You're
you got
gonna
to
be
be serious.
pretty serious.
And then also, I would think you're going to need to.
I like this request a demo. If I request a demo, will they send me one?
No, they'll just put you on a list.
No. It's like I want to request. I just want to see a demo of it.
Well,
Send it
you'll
to
be
me.
able to rent these. I'm
Yeah,
sure all
true.
the companies will have them. But they're the thing that. Okay, it's
Handmade
kind of
in
pricey,
Sweden.
but there's a lot of professional photographers that could justify that kind of money on equipment, or have already spent that money on equipment, existing equipment. That's not that big a deal. But here's the thing: 50 megapixel. When do you need 50 megapixel?
That's true.
Or would it be nice? Maybe. Okay. And then there was another article that I read on this, and forgive me, I can't remember where I saw it, but somebody was talking about this, and they were asking about, there's going to be there's two lenses available for this. Is it the 90 and the 150? It's already
Right here.
it's available. Which 90 is your normal lens, and the 150 is a moderate telephoto that you would use for head and shoulder type portraits. Something like that. So they were saying, well, what about a nice zoom lens for this? And Hasselblad's response was, there's probably never going to be a zoom lens for this. Because it'd be huge,
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Right.
have the size of that sensor.
Right.
So, and plus it'd be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we got two lenses available that are fixed. They don't have any zoom capabilities. So, what are you going to do with 50 megapixel sensor? What would you do with that? I mean, I'm just asking. Go ahead and tell me, Rhonda. I'm listening. Tell me.
People that do portrait photography would be very interested in this.
Well, back in the day when I used to do portraits, we used to use Hasselblads. We had the 500C, and then you got a 2 1/4 inch negative, which was negative was 4 times what 35 millimeter was.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to shoot weddings with the Hasselblad 500C. And if you've got a beautiful negative, you can make huge. You can make 40 by 60 prints, tell who done it. And they look great. They looked fantastic. But almost every wedding, and without exception, they would order. They
8x10s.
Well, yeah, they want 5x5. The preview albums. They want a set of preview albums for both sets of parents and then the bride and groom. And then they want an album which has 8x10s in it, the ones that they picked. And then maybe the studio would throw in a free 11x14 or 16x20, as a special deal or for paying early on that. But other than that, nobody ordered 40x60s. Nobody ordered 30x40s. Nobody ordered 20x30s. Nobody. No one. Zip, zero, no one. So what was the point of having that big honking negative? Well, back in the day, we didn't have Photoshop. So if you needed to do portraits and you needed to retouch, if you did, the retouchers would pretty much, that worked on negatives, they'd say, the head size has to be about the size of a dime. And if it's too small beyond that, we can't really retouch. So that would be a situation where you needed a big negative where you're doing a portrait of one or two people together, not a group shot. Negative's too small. Anyway, so here we are back in 2016. None of that makes any difference. Well, we have a 50 medium format sensor again. Where do we need that kind of sharpness, resolution, and detail? One thing comes to mind, map making.
Really?
Right? Aerial photography, where you need extreme detail, right? So you need to see little details of the ground. That would be one example, where you need that kind of detail. There's probably some scientific applications where you need extreme sharpness and detail from a large format.
And the only other thing is you can do a lot of cropping. So if you had a picture that you wanted to crop in, you would still have a high resolution picture.
Okay, but you're a photographer good enough to justify a $10,000 camera, and you're telling me you can't crop it in the camera? You have to depend on the sensor? Well, I shoot everything medium format because I just never know what the hell I'm going to get. Everything, I'm just going to crop it later because I don't know. I got this little plastic thing that shows me, the golden rule. Yeah. And I hold that up.
And I hold it up and I know exactly where I'm going with this.
I'm cropping this later. I'm not cropping this right now. Doggone it. I'm going to crop it later. If it takes a 50 megapixel sensor, that's what I need.
For me, I just think about how much hardware space you're using. 50 megapixels on an image, you're starting to really eat up your hard drives.
Yeah, but I don't even think that's an issue anymore. Drive space has gotten so cheap. I don't think that's a factor. Just hard drives are just getting to be really, really inexpensive. So
that's true.
I'm okay with that. I don't think that's a factor. I'm just like, I don't know where I would use this, and maybe it's just me. So if you guys and all our cool heads out there, if you're going to buy one of these cameras, you got an opinion on it, go to coolphototools.com and click on the contact and just, write us a little note. Just say, I want one of these.
Well, I think
tell me why.
People want one because they see the name.
Okay, well,
I hate to say that,
yes.
but that's true. That is true. Everybody looks and says, Hasselblad? Oh.
Okay, so then we don't want to talk about what Hasselblad did a couple years ago where they rebranded the Sony NEX7s and put their name on it, right? Okay, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that
Sony
one.
NEX, good little camera. Put the Hasselblad name on it, add a couple grand to it, and a fancy wooden grip, and there you go. It's all marketing. So yeah. I bet they wish they hadn't done that.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah.
So what? Are you done with that?
Yeah, I think.
I think we beat that to death.
I was going to say I don't think I would buy one, but
Well, maybe. It's. I'm sure it's a neat camera, and I'm sure it does it's going to make some beautiful images under the right situations. Is it the right camera for me? I don't think so. But, I could change. I could change my mind on that.
So what Jay's saying is if anyone wants to send him one, he'll probably take it. He probably wouldn't turn
I might. Yeah, I might. Let me think about it. Ask me before you send it, though. Just see what mood I'm in that day.
See what else is on his want list instead.
Well, on my want list instead is this right here from Amazon.com.
What do you want?
And this is high quality heat shrink tubing assortment.
God, he's easy. You want this for Christmas or what?
Well, have you ever used a soldering iron or stuck wires together? Well, one of the things about doing that is, is insulating the wires.
Right.
And I just came up with this the other day. Those are kind of people that do, do-it-yourself stuff. This is really, really handy. What heat shrink tubing is you put this on the wire before you solder the two ends together, and then you slide this little sleeve over the bare wire, and then you heat it with a match or a butane lighter or something. You can even heat it with a hot hair dryer if you want to. And the tubing shrinks. It shrinks around the connection so that then you it doesn't slip off that and expose the bare wires.
Right.
So people that do electrical repairs or they do hobbyists, and maybe you're going to make an extension cable for your flash or something. Heat shrink tubing is just really handy stuff to have around, and you get this whole box of it. There's 300 pieces of different sizes and different colors for $9 on Amazon.com. So that's kind of like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you have that if you did any kind of soldering or connecting wires or any kind of craft stuff? Very, very. I always need heat shrink tubing, and I'm like, dang, I don't have any left. I used to have to go buy it in a strip or something, but this just there's a whole little box full of it. It's just awesome. $9. I'm getting this, Rhonda.
I bet you are. $9. I'm surprised you haven't got it already.
All right, let's move ahead.
Okay. What
you got?
So I brought this from home because this is my newest thing that I just bought, and I've got a bunch of external hard drives on my computer.
Well, hold this up to the camera so that those of us on the YouTube channel can
wait a
see
minute,
it.
Let me see which way. Okay, can you see it?
I can see it, yeah.
Can you see it good? I'm trying to get where it don't have
tell me what
reflection.
this is, so our people that are on audio.
This is a USB 3.0 hub. The best part of this little hub is not only can you use it like to charge things, it has so if you want to use it as a charging hub, you can, but it has little on and off switches for each USB. So when you plug it into your computer, the little USB lights turn on if you had it on, and you can choose to turn off or on any of them. For me, this is really cool.
How much does that cost?
It was like $20.
Okay, and what's the name of that again?
It's called a USB 3 hub, and it's a USB charging port actually. And the best part is that, like I said, it's got switches on it. I haven't ever seen one before that had switches.
So you can turn your hard drives on and off.
Yeah.
Without unplugging them.
Unplugging them.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. So back to the shrink wrap or the shrink tubing that we're talking about. One thing you can do with that is that you can make strain relief on your cables. So even if you're not splicing wire together, you can slide it over the end of a cable and then shrink it down, and it makes that end of the cable stiff so that it doesn't break off the wires right where the connector is. You could use it for Cat5 cables or
that's what I use
USB
Sugrue
cables.
for.
And Sugrue, which we've talked about before, but let's just bring it up here while I have it on the screen.
Okay.
Sugrue is this moldable glue. You stick and shape, and it turns to rubber. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with
and
this.
it's so great. It really works so well.
Yeah,
I love it.
You just peel open this little foil pouch, and it's kind of like
Play-Doh.
Yeah, kind of like Play-Doh. And then you mold it around whatever you want. You can make a cable relief with it. You can even stick it on your camera and make extra
Bumpers.
grips. Yeah, you can make bumpers on things that you drop. I fixed a pair of shoes with them. You could do all kinds of stuff.
It
It
is.
comes in different colors. It's about It's about $20 for a 6-pack, and
it's heat-proof and it's
8-pack,
waterproof.
8-pack.
And
removable. If you change your mind, you
Yeah.
can peel it back off of there.
but it works really, really well. I like it a lot.
Handy stuff.
It is. It is. Whoever thought that up? The girl, I guess, who actually developed it, when she first did, she knew it was going to be good for something, but she didn't know exactly what. So she sent it to all of her friends, and it's like, use it and tell me what you used it for. So people found all sorts of uses for it. But I have it always at home. I like it really well. It works so good.
Okay,
So put it up on the screen so people can see it on the
it
other
was
side.
up there. I had it up there.
Is it?
Yeah, but what I was going to go back to the heat shrink tubing.
Oh.
This is where I found this thing. There is a video here put out by CNET, and it's how to fix frayed cables, and it shows how you do that with the heat shrink tubing, and also talks about the Sugrue. And I'll put a link to this video. It's kind of a cool little video. Just we do a lot of cables with photography, so it's always nice to be able to fix them. And see, there's the
my
Sugrue.
Sugrue.
Yeah, there it is. One thing though, when you fix your shoes with it, you should use the white Sugrue because the black comes off on your white socks.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Well, that's one of the best juices for it.
And they make here's some cable savers too. These you just clip them on the end of the cable if you got a cable that's frayed at the end. These are little handy little plastic things that clip on. You can get these from Amazon too. I'll put a link to all these in the show notes for you.
All the things where you have like little connectors that break.
It happens,
Oh, it does.
Yep.
It does.
Wires flying around here. All right, Rhonda.
Okay, Jay. Hey.
What's on your list coming up next here? Or do you want me to jump ahead? See, I had you so riveted in that last video.
I know. I was just like, what?
You were like,
Okay.
I forgot to look ahead and see what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Yeah, I was. I was just actually looking. Okay, this is called Clear Dark Sky, and it was designed, it's a website that was designed actually for astronomers, but works good for all of us photographers that like to do astrophotography. And it's pretty simple. You just click on it, you put your location in, and you end up with a sky chart. So this is their homepage.
ClearDarkSky.com.
Clear Dark Sky. So it gives you like your hours, and you can see if you're going to have clouds or so. For Tucson, here's Clear Dark Sky for Saturday. And you can go through it. It tells you how to read it and what you're seeing, and darkness, wind, humidity, gives you all the stuff for you people that are outside that are maybe, like tonight, good for any time that you want to come out and do nighttime photography.
Okay.
I just thought that was
Clear
pretty
Dark Sky.
I thought that was interesting because you know how we have all sorts of uses for our cameras at night now, and especially since people are getting into more and more astrophotography. Oh, that's cool.
So did you see this article on warpedspeed.com? And it was talking about, one of the problems you hear about in the fashion industry or fashion magazine or with fashion models is photoshopping. Photoshop has kind of gotten the bad name in some things like, oh, is that photoshopped? Which means like if you say yes, then is it is of lesser quality than if it is not photoshopped, which is a very odd thing to me. But nonetheless, I can see what they're talking about here. So this is an article, and the article, and I'll link to this, it's called Why Retouch Beauty. And they're talking about, well, particularly for magazine photos or fashion models that are selling clothing, a lot of these models they start off, they're extraordinarily beautiful, as is, and then they Photoshop them, and they actually can change a lot of their features. And so this article is like, well, if they were really attractive to begin with, or hit the ideal standard of beauty, why did you do any Photoshop? And that's I think there's a valid point to that. And I think the point to this whole thing is that if you go back in the day and you looked at what we used to do in the fashion industry, when you took pictures of fashion models, clothing models, generally the models had flawless complexions because we used transparency film, slide film. That's because that's the way magazines like their process to print from. They used to use transparencies. So you needed models that didn't need retouching because it was very hard or impossible or expensive to do with transparencies. So based on that, you didn't do any retouching. Back in the day, you didn't do any of that. You had a model that had good skin, and that's good to go. So fast forward today, Photoshop. Why is all the Photoshop being done on fashion models that already look good? What is the point of that? And I think we have to look at the fashion industry and throw a little blame there, because what they're trying to do, and I think a lot of people maybe misunderstand this, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell magazines.
Right. Or clothing, or hairstyles, or whatever, perfume.
And so in order to sell, you have to get somebody's attention first, right? And so to get somebody's attention, they'll often, and this is not new, they'll do stuff photographically that wasn't okay. So back in the day, we were trying to go for really sharp pictures that had good detail and color balance. And so they would take a picture and they'd make it all blurry. And maybe the color balance was terrible because it didn't meet the current standards. You looked at it and went, well, there's something wrong with that, or that's awful. But it got a reaction, made you look. You got it, and that's how they were trying to get your attention. They still do that. They're still trying to get your attention, but they're doing it with Photoshop, and they're doing it with distracting colors, and I think making unrealistic proportions or skin tones on people. And I think we just have to look at it like it's the fashion industry.
Yeah.
It's what they do. It's not real. It's not any more real than a lot of the movies and television that we see. So we shouldn't get too excited about it. Just it is what it is, and teach your children. No, that's a fashion magazine. People don't really look like that. And if you go back and look at like the newspapers, the fashion newspapers we had back in the day, and you look at the illustrations, women were extremely tall and thin in the drawings, unrealistically so. They measure the human figure in how many heads high they are. Most people are 5 to 6 heads high. The drawings of the fashion model were 8 to 10 heads high. Nobody looks like that, right? That's not a human figure. So it's just okay. Have I said enough? Can I get off my soapbox?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be a little realistic on this too. If you have an untouched portrait, and then you have a nicely touched portrait, and show it to a woman, ask her which one she wants, chances are she doesn't want her untouched portrait. Just saying. If you do it right and it looks good, and you smooth down the skin a bit, maybe, not take all the wrinkles away to where you look plastic, but just take some of them out and you do it right, brighten the eyes, most people would choose to have a touched portrait as opposed to an untouched portrait, I think.
Well, no, and I agree. But what we're talking about there is skin texture, and that's not usually attractive in a portrait. We want to look our best when we have a portrait taken.
But it's still photoshopping.
Yeah, but again, we did that before there was Photoshop. We did negative retouching. And before there was negative retouching, they used to use tools to scrape the emulsion off of glass plates in certain areas to change it. So that's not a new concept. But I think that we're talking more here about the fashion industry. Here's a couple more pictures on here that they're showing. And this is the article is talking about American Eagle Outfitters. And this company has decided, like, okay, we're just going to use real women, and whatever they look like, this is what, they're different shapes, they're different sizes. We make clothes to fit them. Here you go. And they're doing really well with this, and I applaud them for that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because we aren't Barbie sizes.
No, and then there's another unrealistic shape. Again, Barbie's like 9 or 10 heads high. So, well, you know what time it is?
No way. How did we do it that fast?
It's time to get off our soapbox and be quiet again for a few more days till next week.
Gosh, can you stand it? I refuse to be quiet for a week.
Well, I mean, just our podcast.
Okay. All right.
Not have to be quiet for a week.
Yeah,
just we're not broadcasting to the world the other rest of the week.
Okay.
All right, cool heads. Take some pictures. Let us know what you think. We always appreciate your emails.
Write us. We want to hear.
Tell us what you're doing and what your photo interests are. Just go to coolphototools.com. Click on the contact box, and you can just jot us a little line about anything you want. Anything about your heart's content. Not that we'll do it. Not that we'll respond. We might. You never know.
You don't know.
Yeah, you can't ever tell.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good one. Next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Cool Photo Tools podcast. Sign up for our mailing list at coolphototools.com. Got a question? Send an email or MP3 audio file to info@coolphototools.com. Thanks for listening.